When the Legends Die, Chapter 15. Blue Elk did not arrive until the third day later. He came in late afternoon and hitched his pony at the rack and went into the agency headquarters and said to Fred at the desk, "The agent sent for me. I am here." Fred went and told the agent, who said to send him right in. "Where have you been?" the agent asked. "I sent for you 3 days ago." Blue Elk shrugged. He looked more smug than the agent had seen him in weeks. "I have been busy," he said. "We have to get rid of this bear you brought in with the boy, Thomas Blackpool." Blue Elk's eyes narrowed. He made no answer. "I want you to take the bear back to the mountains." Blue Elk shook his head. "I cannot do this." "Why not?" Blue Elk smiled. "It is not my bear. It does not know me." The agent smiled grimly. "The boy will take the bear. You will go along and bring the boy back. The bear is to stay in the mountains." Blue Elk pondered, worrying something in his mind. "This is not an easy thing to do. No, I cannot do this." "Why not? I know it will not be easy, but this is why I sent for you." "I am an old man. It will take time." The agent knew Blue Elk was not giving the real reason. He never did. "You are always glad to give your time for your people. You will do this for the boy." "I cannot take the bear back to Bald Mountain." "You don't have to take it that fat. Horse Mountain will be far enough. The other side of Horse Mountain." Blue Elk seemed to relax somewhat. "That is a long journey. 5 days, no more than that. All you have to do is take them out in the mountains, get rid of the bear, and bring the boy back here. I'll pay you $10 silver. That's $2 a day." Blue Elk shook his head. $15. 10. $12. 10. Blue Elk sighed. "I have no money. I need this money now. When the job is done, when you bring the boy back." "I do not like this job," Blue Elk said. "Then you will give me food for the journey." "I will give you supper tonight and enough food for the trip." The deal was made. Blue Elk ate supper in the dining room, a double portion, and when he had finished, Benny Grayback gave him the keys to the padlocks on the bear's chain and took him to the little room to talk to the boy. Blue Elk sat on the cot and said to the boy, "I have come to take you back to the mountains where you came from." "I will not go without my brother," the boy said. "Your brother will go with us. He is going to stay in the mountains." "I do not need you to take us back. I can find the way." "The agent said I should go with you." "Why?" "Because I brought you here." Blue Elk knew that was a mistake as soon as he said it, but it was said. "Your mouth," the boy said bitterly, "is like Benny Grayback's mouth. It is full of lies." "I talk straight, Thomas Blackpool. I am Bear's brother. I do not know this other name you speak." And the boy began to chant his sorrow song. "Be quiet," Blue Elk ordered, but the boy went on chanting. Then he chanted the old songs, and before long Blue Elk was swaying to the rhythms and the chants. The boy chanted for an hour, and Blue Elk was humming and saying words that he remembered. Dusk came and darkness. The boy became hoarse from the chanting, and Blue Elk forced the old memories away from him. "Stop this," he ordered. And after a little time the boy's hoarse voice died away. Blue Elk tried to talk to him about the school, and the boy began chanting again. And again he was so hoarse he had to stop. And Blue Elk talked about the new ways. Then the boy was chanting again. They talked and chanted through most of the night. Then at last Blue Elk fell asleep there on the cot. When the boy heard him snoring, he tried to take the keys to the door and the padlocks out of Blue Elk's pockets. But Blue Elk roused, and the boy did not get the keys. Then the dawn began to come, and the boy chanted a sorrow song again, because he could not find his song for this new day. When he had finished, Blue Elk yawned and said, "Now we will go." He unlocked the door, and they went down the long deserted hallway and outside into the coolness of the morning. They went to the horse-breaking pen, and Blue Elk gave the boy the key to the padlock on the post. He kept the other key, the one to the padlock on the bear's neck. He would need that key later. The boy unfastened a chain from the post, and he and the bear came from the pen, the bear dragging the chain still locked around its neck, and they started up the road toward Bayfield. Blue Elk got on his pony and followed close behind them. They traveled all that day, going back the way they had come when Blue Elk brought them to the agency. That night they made camp and ate from the food the agent had provided for the journey. When they had eaten, Blue Elk took the end of the bear's chain and padlocked it around a tree. Then he said, "Now we will sleep." And the boy, he knew, would not go away without the bear. They traveled all the next day, and again they slept with the bear chained to a tree. The third morning they came to the foot of Horse Mountain. Blue Elk said, "We will stop here and rest." He chained the bear to a tree. Then he said, "We are going to leave the bear here." "I do not like this," the boy said. "My brother wants to go home, back to my lodge." "The bear can go home," Blue Elk said. "Tell the bear he must go home." "I will go home with him." "No, you will come back with me." Then the boy knew what they had done to him. Without a word, he came at Blue Elk, kicking, clawing, trying to knock him down and take the key to the padlock from him. But Blue Elk, old though he was still able to defend himself. The boy struck him in the face and made him grunt with blows in the belly, and he knocked off Blue Elk's derby hat and punched a hole in it. But in the end, Blue Elk had him by the arms and dragged him over to his pony. He took a rope from the saddle and tied the boy's arms to his side, then tied his ankles together. After that, Blue Elk sat down to rest. When he had caught his breath, he said, "Let us have no more trouble about this. The bear must go away. You must go back with me." "No!" Blue Elk sat and waited. The bear, which had lunged at the chain, trying to get loose, while Blue Elk and the boy were struggling, quieted down. Finally, Blue Elk said, "Tell the bear he must go away. Then I will let him loose." "No." Blue Elk waited again. Then he said, "If you do not tell the bear to go away, we will go back and leave him chained to that tree, if that is the way you want it to be." He shrugged. The boy did not answer, and finally Blue Elk got to his feet. He went to the boy and loosened the rope around his ankles. "Come," he said, "we will go back now." He lifted the boy to his feet and took the end of the rope that still bound his arms and led him to the pony. He tied the end of the rope to the saddle horn and got into the saddle. "Are you ready to go?" he asked. The boy looked at the bear, and he looked at Blue Elk, and he said, "I will tell my brother to go home." Blue Elk got off his pony and freed one of the boy's hands. He gave him the keys to both padlocks, and they went back to where the bear was chained. Blue Elk still held the end of the rope. The boy went to the bear. He said, "They have made me do this, brother. They have made me tell you to go away." And he unlocked the chain from the bear's neck. Suddenly, he hugged the bear's head to him and buried his face in its neck fur. Then he stepped back away from it. "Go home," he ordered. "Go, go." And he turned away. The bear stood for a moment, then took a step toward him. He turned and cried, "Go, go, before they put the chain on you again." And the bear turned, uncertain, and walked away from him. The boy went to Blue Elk and said, "I wish you were dead for this thing you have done." "Unlock the chain from the tree," Blue Elk ordered. And when the chain had been loosened from the tree, Blue Elk and the boy went back to the pony. Blue Elk took the keys and put them in his pocket. Then he looped the chain and fastened it on his saddle. He freed the boy's arms but kept the rope around his waist, and he got on his pony, and they started back the way they had come. That night he chained the boy to a tree, and late the next afternoon they returned to the agency. Blue Elk took the boy to Benny Grayback, who took him to the little room with bars in the window. The boy did not talk, and walked as though he was in a daze. The boy did not talk, and he walked as though he was in a daze. Blue Elk was grim. He had a dark bruise under one eye, and his hands were scarred and scratched. He walked with a limp. He didn't stop at Fred's desk. He went directly into the agent's office. The agent looked up, annoyed, then said, "Well, Blue Elk, back already. A little battered, but all in one piece. You got the job done?" "It is done." "You brought the boy back?" "The boy is here." "Fine. And the bear?" "The bear is on the other side of Horse Mountain." "I can count on that. Depend on it. I do not tell lies." "Not unless there's $1 in it." The agent opened a drawer and counted out 10 silver dollars. It was a hard trip. Blue Elk felt of the bruise under his eye. The agent made no comment. He stacked the dollars on the desk in front of him. Blue Elk looked at the money, then took off his derby hat and pointed to the hole in it. The agent smiled and slowly shook his head. "A new hat wasn't in the bargain, Blue Elk. But I'll tell you what I'll do. If you really took that bear all the way to Horse Mountain, it won't come back here, not for a while anyway. And maybe it will meet a rancher or a hunter. Meanwhile, if that bear doesn't come back here in the next 2 weeks, I'll see you get a new hat. How's that?" Blue Elk sighed. 2 weeks is a long time. The agent pushed the silver dollars across the desk, and Blue Elk picked them up one at a time and put them in his pocket. He put on his battered hat. Then he turned and left, a tired and bruised old man who somehow, the agent couldn't quite figure out how, represented the pride and dignity of a whole race.